Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tori, and today we are continuing on my October daily album. I honestly can't even remember what story we're on, so let me find my story number stickers. Okay, so we are going to be doing story 27 and story 28 today. These two stories are going to be of the spooky books that I read and the spooky movies and or shows that I watched in the month of October. So I did read more than 2 books, but only 2 of them were like anything remotely spooky related. They were basically just kind of rom-coms that had to deal with like death or ghosts. So I read Morbidly Yours and Haunted Ever After. And then for movies, we watched Casper, Beetlejuice, Hocus Pocus, Terrifier 2, which I 0 out of 10 do not recommend because I was scared for about a week after I watched it. So if you like scary, gory movies, it might be worth checking out, but like it traumatized me. The Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice. I also watched this show on Netflix called Dead Boy Detectives, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. And I am so upset to have checked into it after I finished watching it, but there is no season 2. It was not renewed, and I'm genuinely just so upset about that because I loved this show. So even though most of these are movies, I wanted to include this one because like A, look at that. That's totally Halloween vibes. And B, I just loved it so much. So these are going to be the things that I'm documenting today. I just pulled out my little star rating stickers here, and I'm probably going to place these around each of my titles and give everything a rating. My books are going to go on the back of my little ephemera, like I don't even know what to call this, flip booklet tombstone thing. Since I only read 2 spooky-ish books this month, I'm just going to place both of these on the back of here. I have not determined what type of title I'm going to do yet, but we'll get there. And then for my movies or watched spooky things, I'm finally going to use this boo paper from Close to My Heart. And I'm also going to use this little scrap of the spider paper that I have. And I think what I'm going to do is just put a torn bit at the top and the bottom of this little spider paper just to break up the background a little bit. I'm probably not going to be doing any journaling on either of these other than my star ratings. That's not even journaling. That's just me coloring in some stars. And I probably won't add too many embellishments. My album is getting real thick real fast, and I still have 3 more stories to tell after this. So I want to not make it as thick as possible for these last few stories so I can at least get everything into one album. So we're just going to lay everything down. Originally, at the beginning of October, like my past self, I had wanted to make both of these particular stories like very interactive. And I had ideas of doing like a cauldron here and then having like all of the pullouts, like the cauldron bubbles be pullouts for like books or movies. Like I had big plans, but my album is already so thick that I don't think that I can implement those plans. So maybe for next year, who knows? So let's go ahead and get started on the books and get these turned into a story. I will probably fast forward through all of this chopping of paper because I've got a lot of little covers and books to cut out here. But once we get past this, we will kind of get right into the spreads. I'm going to just cut everything out from both at the same time, the stories and the movies, just because I don't want to have to stop and come back and do this. So we'll do all of the cutting at once and then kind of split those up into the different stories that we'll be telling. I'm going to keep these 2 scrap pieces because I think what I'll do is just stamp out like spooky reads and October watches or something like that. I'm not even sure what I'll do for the movies and the show yet, since it's not they're not all movies. So I think I'm just going to keep both of these and then I'll stamp my titles on them, and I think I'm just going to fussy cut those out. Even though I hate fussy cutting, but I think that might be the route that I take for this one. So to move right along, I think I'm going to put the books like this, and then just place like a star rating sticker on either side of these like little areas right here. And then my title, I think, is going to be Spooky Rom-Coms, because these are both like, yeah, they both made me laugh. So maybe, or Spooky Romances. I think I'll do Spooky Romances. Spooky Romance Reads, maybe? Who knows? But yeah, that's how that's going to go. So I'll tape these down and then I will work on my title. I'm going to use my typewriter alphabet stamp. I took the backing off in a previous video that I recorded today and I have no idea what I did with it. So they're just kind of hanging out here, but this is going to be the alpha that I'll use for my titles for both of these stories, and we will kind of move right along. Before I adhere these down though, I'm going to put my story number down. That way I don't end up placing something in a spot that it's not going to work because of my story number sticker. I think I'll still be able to, I'm going to put my star ratings like vertically. So I think that will still work right there. But what I'll probably do is just stick these down, or just the one down first. And then that way I won't have to worry too much, because I'll be able to kind of dry place that. Or put my sticker down first before I put the second cover down, if that makes sense. Both of these books I gave 3 stars to. If you are curious, they were fun, decent. They didn't like super blow me away, but they were exactly what I expected based on the synopsises that I read for both of them. And they were both library books. So I was super excited about that because I have been trying to read more library books. One of them was a digital library book, and the other one was an Audible or an audio library book that I read through Libby. I read both of them through Libby. So yay, libraries. And I just colored this in with my Tombow Furunosuke brush pen. Just to color in my little star ratings, and then I'm going to stamp out my title. I'm going to use the VersaFine Onyx Black because it is just a mini ink cube, and it will work perfectly for my Typewriter Complete alphabet stamp. And I think I'm going to do, well, I am going to do, because I'm literally inking it up, I'm going to do this in all caps. For my romance word, I just started with the A because that's the middle of the word, because I'm going to try and center all of my words, and I'm just going to go one on top of the other. That way it's as close to the center as possible, so I can just place that title right there. And then, like I said, I'm just gonna fussy cut this out. So I'm just going to put this a little bit tilted into the left, because I also still have these stickers, these puffy stickers from the Citrus Twist kit from last year. And I'm going to put this little book here and maybe a few other things just to kind of use these up some. So I've got the book. I think that's a crow. Maybe I'll just do the other pink pumpkin right here, because it does kind of play off the little pink sidewalk. All right. That's going to be story number 27, which is going to be the two spooky romance reads that I did this year. And we will get right into the movies and shows that I watched next. So I am, like I said, going to just rip this to have a little bit of a ripped edge at the top and the bottom of my paper. I'll grab my scoreboard to just help me kind of adhere these down so that they're nice and even and level and all that good stuff. It's not always perfect doing it that way with the scoreboard, but honestly, it makes it so much quicker, especially since I'm already used to it not being perfect, just eyeballing it anyways. It just makes the process so much quicker, I think. So now we just need to lay these out. My holes need to be on this side, so I've got to account for that. And if I'm being quite honest, I did not even take into consideration how much space I would need for size whenever I printed these out. So I'm gonna have to kind of really snugly fit all of these in. Casper was the very first movie we watched, and Hocus Pocus was the last. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the order we watched them all in, So I'm just going to go ahead and start adhering these down. And then I'm going to do the last movie that we watched, since that will be on the bottom. That way I can kind of more easily place all of the middle movies in the center. I am fully eyeballing all of this, so it's probably not it definitely isn't perfect. Not even probably, like it definitely isn't, but I think that'll be fine. And then I can place my title right here. Though maybe I'll move this over just a little bit to give me a little bit more space for my title. And just place it like directly in the center of these two. And then I can place my title right here. I'm gonna punch my holes though before I put my title down, so I have a better idea of how much space I have. We're gonna use that same alpha. And then I'm also going to put some star stickers down. These ones I'm going to have to place on top of the movie cover. Most of these are movies we've seen before, so I already know what I would be rating it anyways. So it's not going to bother me too much to have the rating stickers here covering up some of the movie cover. I'm just going to try and place them as close to the center as possible of either the top or the bottom of the cover, just depending on where words are lying. All right. And now we are going to do the title. So I think I'm just going to put maybe just currently watching. Just something very simple. That covers basically either watching a movie or watching a show. So I think I'll just stick with currently watching. I'm honestly not even sure if y'all would believe me if I even tried to tell you how many times I just spelled the word watching in my head, because like the absolute worst thing that I'm the worst at is trying to spell words backwards without writing them down first. Like almost always I have to actually write the words down and then look at the little part that I've written down before I can successfully spell a word backwards. And I did not do that this time around. And just over and over in my head was just respelling the word watching. So have a nice little laugh, please, because thankfully I spelled it correctly. No issues. Hopefully Yeah, that looks correct. But oh my goodness, that's literally all I was doing, was just spelling that word over and over in my head that entire time. So I think that this actually works out quite well because I've got this black and white paper on the background, but because I've got this black and white paper and I stamped in black and white, it adds a nice little border so that you can still see my title. To finish off this page, I think I'm just going to sprinkle around a couple more of these little puffy stickers that I have left over just to use them up. Maybe just one more little butterfly. And I think that's all I'm going to add for this one. Do you know what I forgot? I forgot my story number. This is why I said I had to add them first, because then I'll forget all about them. So I think I'm just going to place this right here. And then we can put maybe this 31 back, or no, we're gonna put the 31 back on here. So I think that'll be a little bit too cluttered on here. But this is it. So we've got story number 27, which is Spooky Romance Reads, and then story number 28, which is Currently Watching. And I will have one more process video after this to just go over basically the day of Halloween. The last 3 stories I have to add to my album all took place on October 31st. So they will all be the day of Halloween. And I'm going to do all of those in the same video. And then after that, we will have probably 2 flip throughs, a chatty one, and then a just music only flip through. I like to do both because I like to watch both. So I like to give everybody the option to watch what they actually want to see. And sometimes I don't want to hear people talk. Sometimes I do. Who knows? So here's the 2 stories that we finished today. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!